RFK Jr. says he's open to seizing drug patents. This is during these meetings with Senate Finance Committee staffers. He is the nominee, as you know, for Health Secretary. He says he's considering authorizing the government to seize the patents of high-priced medicines from manufacturers and share them with other drug makers as a way to force down costs. That's a progressive Democratic platform. And even Joe Biden wasn't talking about that. He was flirting with it, Biden was, but he wasn't really talking about it. To take drug patents away. And here's how they do it. You say, well, how can you take a drug patent away from a private company that's developed a drug? Because they develop them with what? Taxpayer money. A lot of taxpayer money goes into research that ultimately ends up being used to produce a drug. And yet these private companies end up soaking the American public for a lot of money.
If a company owns something, though, they own the patent, then isn't seizing it and taking it away for the public good, would that be specifically considered communism or socialism?
Right. I mean, officially it would be communism. I mean, if the government owned it, it would be communism. That's not what he's doing, though. It's not the government that's going to take over ownership. They are essentially looking, I mean, at least this is what he's floating. I don't mean to chuckle. I mean, parts of this, I think, are a good idea. You know how I feel about oil and energy that comes out of the ground here in this country. You know, I feel about a lot of these pharmaceuticals that are developed with taxpayer money. There's a lot of taxpayer money involved in a lot of things that then are allowed to be privatized, and then they take all the money, and they end up not only taking all the money, but they charge Americans more than they charge the rest of the world for a lot of these pharmaceuticals. So in any case, to the question, so communism would be them taking over the company, but they're not doing that. They're simply saying your patents are no longer valid. That development that was done with taxpayer money enables us, as the voice of the taxpayers, the voice of the people, to open the door to the information and development being shared with all these other companies. So you have no proprietary ownership over that drug any longer. That's essentially what they're saying. I don't know. This flies in the face of right-wing conservative politics.
I would think so.
But it's provocative. I mean, it is really, there is a Republican orthodoxy around free markets, right? I mean, it's BS, because there aren't free markets in so many different ways. There are government price supports across the board, agriculture, meat industry. Look at all the different ways that the federal government helps support American industry. But still they say free market. Okay, so this wouldn't be free market per se. You're going in, it's the hand of the government affecting the market. And it would also, this is the last thing I would say on this, but it's provocative. The one victory that Biden had when it came to pharmaceuticals was the ability of Medicare to navigate and negotiate down various Medicare prices, right, with pharmaceutical companies. So that was like a real big thing. Everybody talked about it. We pay too much money for all of the medications in this country, more than any other. You know, why? Why people are going to Canada there's that, right? To get the lower prices?
Sure.
Well, Biden successfully built into that infrastructure bill the ability for Medicare to negotiate down these prices. Well, the new president, Trump, actually rolled that back. One of the first things he's done. He's rolled it back. So your diabetes medication is one of them, I think. These medications that are used by a lot of Americans, they won't be rolled back in price if they're on Medicare. So you end up with what I'm saying is an RFK position and a Trump position that may run at odds with each other. So now, again, Trump's been known to change his positions. Maybe RFK can change his position on that. So like so many people who are being looked at in this whole scheme, some of the things they say may make sense. Maybe this is one of them. idea somehow that you would take these patents away is very Bernie Sanders-y. It's very Elizabeth Warren-y. You're really looking at that kind of change in the way we view pharmaceutical companies in this country. So I don't know if it'll actually happen. It's just something that's going to be talked about, and it'll be talked about in relation to whether or not RFK Jr. is confirmed. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.